Welcome back to Let's Clean PowerWash Simulator. I'm BurningDogFace, and last time we cleaned off these urinals, which look much better than they did before. Shout out to Elthwar, who says, artificial or faux stone is something that exists, usually as a form of ceramic or concrete-like material, mixed with crushed and powdered stone to give coloration and appearance. It's generally easier to transport while retaining durability. It's not impossible that the monastery was built using some. I thought this one was interesting. The last time I played, I mentioned the the weird way the XCOM reboot works, and the really unfortunate choices that the devs made to reinforce a non-standard playstyle that they thought was standard. Well, shout out to Derek Floyd, who informs me that there was a bug in the original XCOM's code that meant the difficulty was always set to beginner, regardless of your choice. Nobody knew about this at the time, so players thought that even superhuman difficulty was too easy. So the devs jacked up the difficulty for the sequel, Terror from the Deep, making TFTD's beginner equivalent to XCOM's intended superhuman. Mother of God. It's like a perfect storm of shit. No wonder that one's infamous. The game almost didn't happen. Twice. The first time was when Julian Gollop submitted a 12-page design document that Microprose's people didn't understand, so we had to meet them in person to explain the systems. The second time was when Spectrum Holobyte cancelled it after acquiring Microprose. Microprose secretly kept the game cooking anyway and showed it to them when they wanted something for the end of fiscal year 1994. Can't complain about that. And since I've only got the other one, shout out to Justin Jones, who says, I've heard of the wonky hit percentages in XCOM. I always had wondered if they had a bad RNG process, but what you described is so much worse. Since it's been months, I will remind that it actively lies to you to get you to be overconfident, so you make mistakes and get your guys killed. You know, if you haven't lost a man in a while, it will inflate the numbers of your aiming, and if you have just lost one, it will decrease the numbers to make it look like you made an impossible shot and bring your ego back up. Which you notice would not have been as good as if they had just made it fucking percentages and accurate. You've survived tougher, says my lozenge rapper. I will say this. I can't speak to the RNG process from the original XCOM back in the 90s with the hyphen in the title. The one I am familiar with is XCOM Enemy Unknown from the 2000s. But, yes. Justin continues, I hope that Chaos Gate Demon Hunters and Mechanicum don't have such a stupid design choice. I can't speak to those either. I don't even remember what I was talking about for this one, but with a timestamp, you would think that you wouldn't need a PSA not to spray salt in your eyes, but people, let's just say they're fucking stupid. Remember the Tide Pod challenge? There was also the case I had to read in my business law class in which a man sued a company because he stuck his hand in an industrial meat grinder and got hurt. The really fucked up part is that he won his lawsuit because the manufacturer of the meat grinder didn't put warnings on their product. The court ruled that it was their fault. Oh, jeez. Very, very stupid, and an incorrect ruling by the judge. He ought to have laughed the guy out of court. Perversely, deliberate word choice here, we all remember the McDonald's hot coffee lawsuit. Well, as it turned out, the lady that sued had damn good reasons to do so. She ended up with severe burns on her legs because McDonald's company policy was to keep the coffee at boiling. I've never understood why they would do that, considering, it's kind of hard to drink boiling coffee. Anyway, the media misrepresented that case to the extreme, making it sound like she had minor burns at worst. I heard about that. She had, third-degree burns on her thighs and genitals. That's not a sentence anyone ever wants to hear. Oh, yes, and your story about the ultrasonic bath reminds me that I should go get my rings cleaned. One is onyx and the other is jade. That sounds nice. I've got one of Star Sapphire, which I probably mentioned at the time. But yes, there is work to be done. I guess I'll hit this part of the floor. Or is this part of that floor? No, it isn't. Awesome! I don't even need to venture into the stalls just yet. What is this? Oh, it is grime and mud. It's just brighter in the sunlight, I guess. Here we go. Kevin Bernard says your services are required back at the carnival in order to redress the scales of justice. What the... And Clement Weather says, enter the main room, where each of the sinks is converted into a drinks dispenser. Okay. Nice. Give myself some rum and coke from over the sink. Speakers built into the floor hit you up with the deepest bass beats from your toes up. That's not bad. It's weird, but so far not bad. I'm just waiting to hear what you're planning to do with the stalls, because you haven't said anything about removing them completely. In fact, you want me to hose the doors off? Because I'm not entirely convinced you're not planning to put them back on. I guess I should... Actually, I guess I'll stick to this half of the thing. Floor in here. Is this even the same tiled floor? It is not. Alright, what am I missing? Well, that part, obviously. Aha! That's very striking. Hello to you too, wall. Oh, I was hoping they'd at least have a pictorial version of the sign. See, the reason I always preferred the ones with the button, in addition to the fact that the sensors have always been shitty and inconsistent for the other kind, is that they allowed you to deface the signs so that they said push button, receive bacon. And if that doesn't make any fucking sense to you, I might be too old, so just Google the phrase push button, receive bacon, and check the images. Oh. Look at all the dirt and crap underneath the nozzle. Good. I guess the hand dryers are still just hand dryers in your vision of the future. It's unusual for me to get an email giving me a new job before I've finished a job. I'm just saying. Quarter done. Alright, this is amusing, but, there. Preserve that for future generations. Sorry, local graffiti artists, I've got to be a bummer again. Oh, interesting. Yeah, the white one's good for uncovering the graffiti from the dirt without completely erasing it. Because it's not concentrated enough to get the paint without holding it for a few seconds. Sorry, cool S. I remember seeing a thing from a comic book once of Superman recruiting a bunch of other Supermen from throughout the multiverse to help him fight the big bad. It had only just occurred to him to do that at the end because the big bad's MO was going around getting evil versions of all of Superman's friends to keep him distracted. And it's this, feel-good sequence of a whole bunch of Supermen going over there and getting the job done. The reason I bring it up is because one of the ones in the background was clearly just regular Superman, but with his symbol being the cool S. Oh. Graffiti doodle here of a guy firing a shotgun, which is an unusual one. Oh, the sinks. Bet it feels good for these sinks having water in them again after all this time. Even if the pipes are almost certainly not actually connected here. Wow! That's some thick grime. Makes me think of what you'd have to clean up if they made an Alan Wake level. As you know, one of those things would be darkness residue. I don't think they ever gave it a proper name in the games other than like solidified darkness. And the suggestion that it just shows up wherever the darkness is concentrated enough. Cadabra. But that's abracadabra. Weird. I mean, we just call them sinks where I come from, not basins, but whatever. I at least appreciate the game spelling colors correctly. Oh, that one is done, okay. Where was I? Erasing this weird symbol, which looks like half chemical warning symbol and half occult symbol. Seriously, it looks like one of those little diamonds you see on, like, Bleach or whatever. Where they have the 4 letters in the corner that indicates exactly how bad an idea it is to drink this. Like a rating from fucking OSHA or something. Sorry, adorably smiling alien, you must be erased. Presto changeo alakazam. There's a DC Comics villain named Abracadabra, actually. I have to admit, I really like his style. He's from, like, the 28th century or something, and his whole thing is that he came back in time to the 21st century with a bunch of 28th century technology that makes him just practically untouchable. Except that he plays it all up like he has magic powers. Like as a joke. Dresses up like a fucking stage magician. Like, hey, it's like, man, that's not how that. Like, then that's not superpower. It's like, can you tell me how it works? All smarmy about it. Who knows? Maybe it's magic. %30 done. This is a 1-star rating so far. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't pay for this. Not if the job was the entire room. Mold and grime, yeah. There's mold here. Don't breathe this, kids. Jesus Christ, this looks like the surface of the moon. It's so covered in spots. Amazing that that much light was being held back by the dirt. Like, it wasn't even glowing or anything. Let's see. Yeah. This room doesn't feel like it has air conditioning. I mentioned that because it suddenly occurred to me that, of course, Dr. PowerWash isn't using warm water, as I wondered once in the past. If he was carrying all this warm water, it would be the warmth that would be going through the tank on his back and making him even more uncomfortable in summer levels. The fuck? That is not what I intended to do. Oh, it's rusty, that's why it... Still just a touch disturbed by how, ineffectual the soap was against the rust. I've never seen that before. It's not supposed to be able to be resistant. Wow! I'm making great progress. All things being equal. I guess I'll get the ceiling. Like here and along here. And I'll move in here and sort of repeat myself. I guess I'll get this part of the floor first since I just carved a huge chunk out of it. But yeah, then I'll get the urinals on this side, well, not the sinks on this side, the meep is right there. Well, not immediately, I guess. Then I get the ceiling in here. I'm just trying to plan this out. I do the exit tunnel, which I would normally do last because of the arse, except this time I have to do the I have to get the floor, the walls, there's specifically toilets, toilet seats, and toilet lids, so I have to get the cistern pipe and the cistern, and the light, and the cubicle door. Can't touch this, written way up the wall there, with a hand next to it. Drawing a fucking Neptune for some reason on the wall. What does that say? For the greater good. Huh. Well, I don't love that. I was expecting there to be some kind of horrible demonstrative image below that, but no. Don't worry, I was facing the other way from the toilet. That's for Justin's sake. Ah. I was glad I was able to get this in on the end of May. It's probably after midnight by now, but no, it's definitely after midnight by now, that's right, but I mean, even if the videos don't go up until tomorrow, it'll be June. What's that phrase I like to use? A technical victory is still a victory. Here's the real question. If, when I get to those cubicles, I hose off the gnome just for the sake of politeness, will that anger the Gnome Council? Get this girder up here. Ah, got you. Good. Oh, awesome. The grating up here is completely covered in rust and grime. I couldn't even tell it was rust at first because it's so fucking even. Okay, you know, maybe this will be better. Because we're on the ceiling. Of course, this is the underside of the skylight, so I can't actually make out any detail, so... Oh, boy. Wow. That's just really not cutting it. picking up my phone and making sure the timer icon is still there. Oh, jeez. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. The timer. I picked up the phone, checked it, set it back down, said that, and then the timer went off. That's the thing with checking the icon when it's in the phone is in locked mode, that it doesn't actually have the number on it until you open it up. You just see a little hourglass symbol. It says, "Yep, you're timing something. At some point it will be done." Okay, I have to admit, I wasn't sure. I thought this one might be a write-off. I thought this one might be beyond my abilities, but this part looks great. I mean, you know, it's not a place I would hang out or anything. It's still a bathroom. But maybe it's making the idea of renovating this place into a nightclub sound less crazy. You know? 36%. Not fucking bad. I'm BurningDogFace, and I'll see you on my next video, whether that's more of this, a different side series, or, I don't know, something else entirely. Maybe go back to Scrapland or try something else. But whatever happens, I'll see you then. And I hope you guys have a great day till then. I'm BurningDogFace, and I'll see you then. Later!